In the first half of 2022, Continental was the leading original equipment supplier for passenger car tires on the Chinese market. While in China, Continental is probably the most popular tire brand among vehicle manufacturers, and it has been strengthening its position as an original equipment supplier, especially for electric and premium vehicles. Well, today we are very honored to have Véronique Giraud, Continental Tire China General Manager, to speak to us. How important is China business to you?
China is really the biggest market worldwide. So if we compare to other markets where we have more history, like Europe, Middle East, or Americas, China is already in the top three, but I mean, youngest market, but already in the top three. And for me, I'm quite confident that within the next year, China will be number one also in our company. As you know, I was appointed in August this summer to join the China markets, and I already knew that China market is one of the worldwide biggest automotive industry. So extremely important, extremely dynamic market, and especially for NEV, new electric vehicles. So I mean, as for different automotive suppliers, really exciting and interesting markets for Continental Tires and Continental AG overall.
Well, we are expecting Chancellor Scholz's visit this week. So what do you think are the key agendas to be fulfilled from his perspective?
I think for me, China and Germany has extremely long history, and especially in engineering, we have a lot of extremely nice company in Germany who are working with China's company. German OEMs was, I think, the first foreign brands to come into China, like Audi, Volkswagen, so with great success. So for me, I mean, they need to reinforce the partnership and really to look forward. It's what you touched before. I think some people can be scared about, I will say, the competitiveness of China. I mean, Mr. Scholz is also new there. I think it's really important to really keep the connection between both countries because of extremely long history of trading.
Well, we are trying to get this carbon neutrality goal globally. NEV sector development is very critical because that's probably one of the most important part of carbon emission. So how do you view the growth trajectory of NEV sector in China for the next 10 years? Do you think it's going to lead the development globally?
I think, yes, for sure, it will lead it. And we already see that with extremely dynamic Chinese OEM who are now going in Europe. If you take BYD, for example, there were few days ago, they were in Paris, in the Paris exhibition for cars, so extremely well prepared. NIO is also going into Europe. So we really see these trends. For us, it's not a trend that will go out in few months. It's extremely long trend, so really going up to 40–50% is really a clear, and I will say, targets that China will reach with no doubt at all on my side.
You've mentioned several names earlier, for instance, BYD, for instance, NIO. What is your impression in general upon those NEV car makers, founders in China? They're relatively young. Do you think they're sophisticated and competitive enough?
To be honest, I'm really impressed how quick they are. I think for me, that's really something that I learned quite quick in China. Everything is quick. So when I look, and especially if I take NIO as an example, so really young company, and they really reinvent the cars. So I mean, cars, it's really seen more as a service. So really only focusing on customer experience, so a complete different approach to, I would say, traditional car makers like Renault, Peugeot, that I know quite well. So completely different. And I think for me, extremely fitting to the needs of new end users, and especially Generation Z. So really impressive how they see cars as a new mobility tool, not only as a tool, but really as a whole services.
Well, as a company with about 150 years history, how do you always maintain the ability to innovate and lead market? This is, some very rare qualities.
So mobility is in the DNA, and mobility is really evolving, not only in automotive, I will say, environments, but also in transportation. So that's really what we have, and we have thousands of engineers in our company, more than at Google, to give you an example, how we can size it. And people are extremely passionate by mobility overall.
Thank you so much, Veronique, for your time. And I hope I can see you offline, in person, sometime when you're available. And we can invite you to our CCTV studio for an in-depth talk sometime later.